Hello friends! While Nvidia is still out there trying to convince everyone that DLSS 5 is this huge leap forward for gaming visuals, most players really do not seem sold on it. The news about this new technology spread very fast and the reaction has been, well, rough. According to some internal polling reported by PC Gamer, 71% of people said they wouldn't use it at all. And what's even more interesting is that 37% said they are against it on principle. As in, even if a game includes it and they have hardware to support it, they still won't turn it on. At the same time, Nvidia CEO says people are judging it way too harshly. He emphasizes that it's not pure Gen AI and it won't interfere with the artistic control or art direction of a game, as all aspects of this tech are in direct control of the game developer. But clearly that explanation hasn't really won people over. That said, the reality is Nvidia doesn't need everyone to love this tech. It just needs enough big studios and hardware partners to get behind it. And considering how much influence Nvidia already has, there is a pretty good chance we'll see this show up in more and more AAA games anyway. Mostly so that big publishers could appeal to their player base with more premium hardware with a flashy new tech. Also, to be fair, most people still haven't actually used it yet. Right now, a lot of the backlash is based on a demo and first impressions, not real hands-on experience. So the real big question is how many people change their minds once they actually try it. Now, a lot of big companies are still trying to figure out what role AI should even play in game development. And Take-Two seems to have made a pretty drastic move. The company has reportedly laid off its head of AI along with the entire AI team. Luke Dicken, who led the department, recently posted on LinkedIn saying that both he and his team were out. He expressed quite a bit of disappointment as he said they would spend the last 7 years building cutting-edge tools to support game development. And he also asked people to help those team members find new roles. Unfortunately, we still don't know how many people were affected. What makes this even stranger is that Take-Two hasn't really explained why this happened in the first place. And honestly, the timing is odd. Not that long ago, the company's CEO was saying AI could be useful in game development, even if it wasn't absolutely essential. Take-Two also said more than a few times that it would continue exploring and investing in new technologies, especially AI, to improve efficiency. So now it kind of feels like the company has changed direction all of a sudden. Maybe not completely abandoned AI, but definitely pushed it way down the priority list. It could also be a sign that the wider industry is moving out of the hype phase. Looks like AI teams now have to prove real value like every other department, instead of just existing because the topic is hot. But right now, that's still just a speculation as we don't really know what happened. So, what do you think? Is the AI bubble starting to deflate a little bit? If you're hoping for Dead by Daylight 2 at some point, it sounds like the devs want to shut down that idea right now. During GDC, IGN spoke with Behaviour Interactive and the team basically said a sequel just doesn't make sense for their players. They thought about it, they considered a remake too, but from their point of view, asking players to rebuy the game and leave behind all the time and value they've built up in the current ecosystem would be the wrong move. Instead, they want to keep building on the existing game, modernize it, and carry it into the next decade. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense. According to their hiring ads, Dead by Daylight has more than 70 million players, over 5 million monthly active users, more than 1 billion in lifetime revenue, and over $200 million in annual revenue. Those are huge numbers, especially for a game in a relatively niche genre. On top of that, Steam charts suggest that the player base has been growing year after year, and the game still sits comfortably in Steam's top 20 for concurrent players. That's kind of wild for a game that's closing in on its 10th anniversary. At this point, making a sequel might actually hurt them more than help them. The only real issue is that older live service games eventually hit a wall. Not necessarily because the gameplay gets bad, but because technology moves so fast. Engines improve, visuals improve, expectations change. So sooner or later, they're probably going to have to make a huge technical overhaul or rethink this whole no sequel plan. At least that's how I see it. Also, quick thing, If you don't know who I am, my name is Alex, I'm a game producer and I'm here to help you get caught up on everything that's going on in the video game industry. Star Wars Eclipse has been almost completely silent since its big reveal at the Game Awards back in 2021. But now we finally have a small update, and it's not exactly comforting. According to Insider Gaming, development is moving very slow and the game is still years away from being finished. And that alone isn't necessarily a disaster. But the more worrying part is that sources close to the project say Eclipse could also be in financial trouble. Apparently Quantic Dream and NetEase are relying heavily on the revenue from Spellcasters Chronicles, a new MOBA that recently launched in early access. The idea is supposedly to use the money from that game to help fund Eclipse. And here's the really concerning part. If Spellcaster flops, NetEase may reevaluate its commitment to Quantic Dream and could stop investing further. And honestly, I didn't even know Spellcasters existed, and that says a lot because I both play MOBAs and follow the games industry pretty closely. Looking at the mixed reviews and the tiny player count on Steam, it really doesn't look great so far. I mean, yes, it's still in early access, so it's not dead yet, but this definitely isn't the kind of start they were hoping for. I honestly hate this situation for two main reasons. First of all, what genius decided it is a good idea for Quantic Dream to make a live service title, especially in a niche already occupied by Dota 2 and League of Legends? I mean, this is a studio responsible for Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, for crying out loud. Absolutely amazing narrative games. None of their previous titles has anything to do with either free-to-play, MOBA or live service operations. Secondly, I understand that everybody is disgustingly greedy and wants to scratch that live service itch by any means necessary. But are they really going to scrap the entire studio with so much experience in a different genre just because they couldn't produce a MOBA that tops all the charts? That's like hiring an elite football player to drive in Formula 1, then firing him because he didn't win the championship. Why not give him something he could actually handle and that he's good at? Absolutely mind-blowing logic. So yeah, rant aside, it really feels like we shouldn't expect Star Wars Eclipse anytime soon. Jason Blundell, best known for helping shape Call of Duty Zombies, and also for being tied to two Sony projects that didn't work out, is apparently ready to go again. After Dark Outlaw Games quietly disappeared, Blundell revealed in a recent stream with JC Backfire that he's already started a brand new studio called MagicFractal. Of course, the immediate question is, why do this again? His answer was pretty simple: third time's the charm, and if not, it's the fourth time. The studio is brand new, so there is basically no information yet on what it's making or who's funding it. The website is almost empty too, aside from a mailing list sign up. But I've gotta say, I respect the attitude. This isn't really a comeback story yet, but it's the kind of a story you can't help but root for. Someone getting knocked down repeatedly and still deciding to get back up and try again. So genuinely, I hope it works out for him, because I'd really rather not be talking about another closed studio next year. If you're a big Mass Effect fan, there is at least some good news here. The TV show is still happening, but there is bad news too. Now, according to IGN, the script was already well underway, but the newly appointed head of global TV at Amazon reportedly wanted changes so that the show would appeal more to non-gamers. And that phrase can mean just about anything. Maybe it means simplifying some of the world building, maybe it means cutting back on references to the original trilogy, or maybe it means trying to make the whole thing more accessible to people who have never touched the games. Right now, nobody really knows. One of the few things we do know is that the series is supposed to be completely standalone, which unfortunately means no Commander Shepard. And yeah, that's definitely a little disappointing. My bigger concern though is the direction this could go in. I get why they want the show to reach a wider audience, of course they all do, but that can become a very slippery slope very quickly, because the moment you start trying to make something for absolutely everyone, you risk losing the people who cared in the first place. And game adaptations have already shown how risky that can be when they drift too far from the source material. You don't have to look too far. The Last of Us Season 2 was released not so long ago. It tanked so hard that a lot of fans completely dismissed it, and even the creator of the entire franchise abandoned the project. So to me, this is one of those situations where the studio really needs to be careful. Expanding the audience is fine, but not if it comes at the cost of what made Mass Effect special to begin with. As Overwatch keeps trying to rebuild momentum, Blizzard is already addressing one of the bigger controversies from the current season. This time it's about one of the newer characters, Anran. The short version is that the in-game model looked too different from the original design, and that triggered a lot of backlash from the community. Recently, the game director shared an update on X showing the changes that were made ahead of Season 2. Blizzard basically admitted the character didn't land the way they wanted, and now they're bringing the design back with a more fiery and more fierce vibe. They also said they've got 5 more heroes coming in this year, and encourage players to keep giving feedback because it helps the team make those characters feel more authentic. Which is all well and good, but I can't help thinking there has to be a better way to lock in characters' look and feel than waiting for the internet to explode first. Oh well, at least they responded, right? And that's all I have for you today, friends. Let me know in the comments down below what do you think about DLSS 5? Are you looking forward to Star Wars Eclipse? And if you are still waiting for the Mass Effect TV show. As usual, if you want to know more, all links are down below. And of course, clicking the like button helps this channel a lot, and I personally highly appreciate it. Thank you for making it this far, and with that, Alex is signing off for today. Cheers!